Hello. Today's episode number 146 of the Professor Slots podcast discusses a strategy for the unique slot machines found in the state of Washington, as well as new features and more to my upgraded online course. That's right, this one episode has the audio from my last 2 live streams. Hope you'll find this show convenient for any traveling you need to do for the upcoming Labor Day weekend. Plus, in this episode, I'll be covering the current state of slot machine casino gambling in the great U.S. state of North Carolina. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is a podcast about slot machine casino gambling. It is where I provide knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over how your slots journey is an adventure in learning from my weekly live stream Q&A session on YouTube. Further, I reviewed New York slot machine casino gambling in 2021. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to sign up at courses.professorslots.com to register for my online course for slots enthusiasts. 30 days to play slots smarter and win, including how to leave a casino with your winnings. Here's the audio recording of my live stream Q&A session on a Washington state slot strategy for their unique slot machines. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C., but the state in the northwest of the United States. They have a very unique system set up, and I've been getting a lot of questions. Well, I get occasionally the question from people in Washington who would like to win at slots there, which is not, it's so unique that the difference is enough for my strategies not to work. So it deserves its own strategy. I thought talking about this, walking you through how to figure out how to win in such a unique state, a unique setup in a state, and how that even became that way. I'll walk you through that, and I think it'll be of value to see how your state operates and how to learn how to win at your state. Last week, I talked about how your slots experience, you're developing yourself to be a better slots player, is a journey based on your goals. And it's very important where you are to help determine how to win. In the United States, every state is a different gaming jurisdiction. Now, some people quibble, some of the gaming commissions quibble about not having a gaming commission for Utah. Well, there is a one sentence in their state constitution that says all gambling is prohibited. And that's the sum total of their sum total of their gaming regulations, which is unfortunate, but that's Utah. And maybe we'll talk about that some other time. It's unfortunate because there's no protections in place. If they don't really say that they don't have enforcement of that. And so a lot of gas stations will have games and they're illegal, but are they? If there's no law saying they're illegal, it's prohibited, but it's just not enough. Anyway, that's Utah. Let's talk about the state of Washington. And we have a few donations already. Thank you, Chuck. Let me share that with you. Thank you, Chuck, once again, giving a donation during the live stream. Very much appreciated, Chuck. I sometimes talk about my course as being available at lifetime access, not my lifetime, not your lifetime, but anyone's lifetime, but rather the lifetime of my business. And these donations help me to move forward and keep going. So thank you so much, Chuck. Also, Magpie 11, Washington casinos rock. They say in their super chat. So thank you both again for your donations to the cause. I appreciate it. Okay, so kind of caught up there, and so Washington, the state of Washington. How do I put this? The state of Washington. Let's see. Today's live stream is meant to be sort of the journey that if you gamble in Washington or you play slots in any state, how you might go about understanding what the rules are so that you can not break them, but bend them, take advantage of them. And so I got enough emails from people in Washington who are just like, please help. And so all my strategies work great for most states, but Washington, not so much, hardly at all. But we will go over it. So most of this is going to be sharing from my screen. Now, I will hope for good bandwidth today. My understanding is that I kind of get blurry. I'm out in farmland in Southwest Ohio, and it doesn't always have the best reception, particularly if there's a sports game on and everybody's watching it in the neighborhood, that sort of thing. I'm looking at seeing if I have the best possible connection, but I apologize if it gets blurry like it did last week. And if it does, please say so, and that way at least I'll know. But the audio should work just fine. And this is a podcast episode that'll be released tomorrow evening. So I'm trying to get to everybody. And if I seem like I'm explaining things that I'm going to be showing you, that's for two reasons. One is some people are watching this on the phone, and the print is too small to read. Also, this is a podcast episode, so they can't see the screen, even though I'll provide some links so they can go look for themselves. So I may get a little wordy about what it is that we're looking at, but that's just to accommodate all the different people who are viewing this. So, and not, I think even non-Washington, state of Washington slots players will find value here. It's as an example of what to do for your own state. So I have some online resources. This is, I'm showing my screen now. This is my main page. And if you want to click on the menu for state by state, this is an online resource I've put together. I have a summary article, which I'll click on. And basically it's alphabetical for, these are all the Facebook groups, 57 Facebook groups that I have, including Professor Slots Enthusiasts, which is really growing. Looks like tomorrow should break the 10,000 member sequence, 6,000 members this month, or 4,000 members this month. I think by the end of this month, it should be 6,000, which was doubling from the end of July. From the beginning of July, it was doubled from there, and then from the beginning of June, it was doubled from there. So it's just huge, which is great. Nice to see people finding it and spotting it. So welcome to all those people if you're here on the show today. So if you go through this article that you'll find on my main page, this will show alphabetically all the different states. I also want to briefly mention over here, pardon for looking away, I might have a couple of different screens to look at. So you can look at that. You can look at every article, but it's a little easier just to go to it. So this is professorslots.com, my webpage. And if you have your state has a 2-letter postal designation, Washington is WA. So if you type professorslots.com/WA, it'll take you to the Washington page. While we're kind of on my page, I wanted to point out this green button in the upper right of professorslots.com about getting my online course. I mentioned this because the price goes up. The price goes up at midnight tomorrow. And that would be Sunday, August 22nd, midnight at the end of Sunday. So there is 1 day, 11 hours, 52 minutes, and 2 seconds left, as you can see with the counter here, before the price goes up by $100. That should be, I want to say, permanent. It's certainly going to be the price for years, and we'll see what happens in the next decade. But the $197, it's currently $100 off at $97, and tomorrow night, midnight, it will go up. And now, I partly mention this because plenty of you have already signed up, or you already purchased the course. As you know, if you buy it now, you get lifetime access, and so Right. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on the live chat, but see if there's any issues with blurriness. But it appears maybe not. Okay. So right. For the people who have already signed up for the course, who have already purchased this course, you're probably interested in knowing what's changed. And I will say, not much. There's going to be a couple of things. Basically, I took some of the suggestions in the beta version. You get an opportunity to give me feedback on every lesson, and that allows me to make some upgrades that people are looking for. I'm still collecting those until midnight, but a few of them I'm doing now. And this next version, which might be 3 months out, would include everything that I can possibly include for the next version from the beta testers. So the beta testers, thank you so much for all your input. You still have an opportunity to provide that input until midnight, and then I will take that opportunity down, and there will just be a course survey after that. But I'll send you an email with the differences. Mostly it's just polishing. My first course, the beta version had maybe more live streams than really necessary. So you had to listen for an hour to get the information that was probably, it's only a portion of that hour. So I've taken out as many of those as I can and just made a video with just the information, and just to help get through the course a little faster. And so that's one different. That's one difference. Now, there is right. Live chat is distracting me. I will answer questions in a few minutes. Right. So I will send everybody who's purchased the course an email with some of the differences. And one of the things that was requested is by truck drivers who enjoy listening to my podcasts. I now will be providing an audio file for each of the lessons, and that'll be downloadable, and you can put that on your phone, and you can do it all at once, and then go and wherever you like and just play the recording that people have requested. Also, others who have hearing disabilities have requested that I do closed caption. I do closed captions on everything I possibly can. The live streams are hard because I have all these comments. So what I often do there is provide a partial transcript of what I intend to say, rather than just what I intend to say, rather than just what actually happens, because live stream is live stream. Okay, so let's moving on from this. 1 hour, 1 day, 11 hours, price goes up. And it will no longer be 50% off. But if you go to professorslots.com, let's get on topic, get on Washington slots. I have an article. I write one for each state. It takes me about, do one a week. And I have one in Washington. And it was written not quite a year ago, and it soon will be updated, but there doesn't look to be a lot of changes for the slots area. They now have sports betting in some casinos and that sort of thing, but I don't cover that topic. So as far as slots, it seems to be pretty stable. Not always. It isn't always. Every year seems like something happens. I think one casino closed, and we'll look into. I'll go through this with you. So one of the things that's happening that's different about Washington, the state of Washington, is that there is we're going to get into this, but at a high level, there's two kinds of slot machines. And one of them isn't a slot machine. It's class 2 and class 3 slot machines. Class 3 is a Vegas style machines, and that's usually what they are. And that's truly slot machines. But then there is Nicholas has given a donation. Come on, mouse work. Thank you for a logo that says thank you. You can't see it on the screen because it's on the other screen, but it's a animal going back and forth and saying thank you. Thank you, Nicholas, for your support. Appreciate it. So in Washington, they have a unique system. So in most states, you would generally be under is it a class 2 or is it a class 3? You only have class 2 bingo style competition machines if you have a tribal casino, and you have class 3 if you have a commercial casino or a tribal casino with a gaming compact that's been approved for a federally recognized tribe. And so those are generally the two different types. Well, Washington, the state of Washington is unique. So they have class 3 machines, which are a variation of what you might find in Ohio. I'm in Ohio. So Ohio has 4 casinos, which are under the Gaming Commission, and there's 7 they don't call them casinos. Maybe I should say the first 4 casino resorts, and the other 7 are just casinos without table games, and some of them have racetracks. And those are those machines in the casinos. The 7 casinos are connected to the state lottery. They have the same rules. The Gaming Commission and the state lottery have the same rules for their machines, identical, but they are 2 different gaming commissions. And so the 7 casinos operated by the state gaming commission, or rather have gaming regulations from the state lottery, are organized by that entity. And this lottery, like the state of Washington, like other states in the U.S., in the gaming jurisdiction in the U.S., are based on draw lottery. Everybody understands there's 2 kinds of lotteries, right? There's the draw lottery, where you take your favorite numbers and you give them to them, and how many numbers depends on the game. Mega Millions, Lotto, whatever it is, you give them numbers, and then they print something off, and there's a drawing later to determine who won. That's called the draw lottery, and you get a ticket for that, and which you hold on to, and that shows you win. You don't know if you won. That is one type, but there's another type which you've seen if you go to a convenience store. It's rolls of tickets that are pre-manufactured, and they tear you off one when you want one. I thought about getting one, but no time. And then you scratch off, play the game, and see if you won. Now, that's the scratch lottery. And that's there's only one state that has their slot machines based on scratch tickets, and that's the state of Washington. Now, scratch tickets don't have a random number generator. And all my strategies rely on there being a random number generator. That, in essence, is why my strategies don't work in the state of Washington for those machines that are based on the scratch ticket lottery. Now, you might say, where's the scratch tickets? And these are electronic. These are virtual. These are pre-made batches sent out to the casino. And I'm talking real high level here, sent out to the casino, and those are distributed amongst some machines. And that's how it works in Washington. If you're in any other state, this is very different. And none of this style of slot machine based on scratch tickets, my strategies don't work. Now, my money management techniques work, and my safety and all this other stuff does, but my strategies don't. And so I wanted to talk about the unique solution that Washington slots offer to be, can be solved. And let's go solve that. Now, the reason why it's valuable to those of you who are not in the state of Washington is that, how do we put this? Every state is unique, including your state. How does that go? Every person is unique, just like every other person. Every state is unique, just like every other state. Washington has this going on, but too many people go from one state to another state and think everything is the same, and it's not. There's subtle differences sometimes, partly because of the influence Nevada gaming jurisdiction has had on helping other states get up to speed on offering gaming regulations. But just because they're similar doesn't mean that you can't find advantages that are in your state. So let's find the advantages in Washington for us. So this is my article, Washington Slot Machine Casino Gambling. They're all the same for each state. I have an introduction. I provide a video. I provide a podcast episode that you can play directly on the webpage. I talk about the legal statutes. Some are very short, like Utah. There are none, or the reference to the state constitution, that's one sentence. But there's a little bit more here, and we'll come back to this. Part of it's what I just said, which is random number draw tickets, use random number generator. It's not pseudo, it's actual bucket, and they draw numbers. So it's a universal random number generator rather than an electronic random number generator, kind of like bingo. Okay, so scratch tickets are how they are made. There's other gaming requirements. I always have a section on private ownership, and then there's the gaming board, which we will go to, and then I wanted to point out the largest and second largest, at least this was true last September, last year, Muckleshoot and Alani. So we'll look through those. I'll see you later, Nicholas. I'm sorry you couldn't stick around. And thanks for buying the course. Much appreciated. You got in before the deadline. Yes. So there are no commercial casinos in Washington. There are 31 tribal casinos in the state of Washington, and this is the list with links to each. Now, I also provide a map, and this is something I wanted to zoom in on so we could all take a close look at this. This is a map that I made, and it's, again, updated for as last September. If there's any of these have closed, I'll update this when I review this again. However, it's a little busy, but these little black dots here are where the casinos are located. And one of the things you want to watch out for is isolated casinos. Now, the second largest casino in the state of Washington is Alani here on the lower the southwest corner of the state of Washington. Notice how there's no other casinos nearby. Yakami Legends is over here. Here is Lucky Eagle. These are smaller casinos. So you have a huge casino that doesn't have a lot of nearby competitors. And as we've talked about, you can see this in professorslots.com/ABC27. If you're on my email list, you received that earlier today, I think, depending on when you signed up. And it's isolated. So there's a concern there that they're not competitive, that they're not fighting for your attention. If you go to Alani, that they think, well, if you don't come here, you have a long trip and you don't like to do that. So therefore, they can kind of raise the odds if they have that opportunity. So I love how they don't have that opportunity in the state of Washington because the tribal lottery system, which was created there for those slot machines, don't allow it. Don't allow them to have that access. So let me come back to the last little bit here, which is nearby states. I have a Washington Slots group. I don't share this. The Washington Slots Facebook group is private. So I have it open on my other screen where you can't see it. And there are a lot of people are sharing the wins. A lot of people, there's 341 members at the moment, which is a decent size for one of my Facebook groups. Not 10,000, but it's still good. And if you go to Washington Slots Enthusiasts on Facebook, you search for that group, you can join and see all the comments that people talk about. They went last night. There's posts already today from, and you can talk to locals who go to some of these casinos, and you can ask them what the conditions are. I made all these groups because I can't go to every casino. If I went to 2 a week in the United States, it would take me 10 years to get through all of them. So it's just like a no-go situation. But I figured let's set up a way for you to ask people who are regulars at every casino. So I have a Facebook group for each state, and I have one for Washington, and there's 341 members. You can ask them questions about their last weekend, yesterday, last night, and share. So payout returns. For those of you who understand some of the terminology that I talk about in my course, perhaps you have the course, there is a theoretical payout, which is how a machine is set up to have basically its statistics. So, and this is not a statistics course, basically it's a lower limit. Some states have an upper limit as well as a lower limit. Many states do not have either. And the state of Washington, for its unique terminal style slot machines from the state lottery, from the tribal lottery system, have a minimum theoretical payout of 75%. What I worry about when I look for that is sometimes they have a maximum 100%, but not the state of Washington. So 75% is fine. That's what the state of Nevada has. And if you go to the state of Nevada's return statistics, you will see that on average, they are around 93%. Which is a lot different from 75%. The 75% basically goes unused. It's too low for a casino to not upset their customers. It would be shocking. I try to calibrate people by helping them understand what the percentages mean. A 2.5% change, if it was up, if it was an increase in 2.5% from what you were experiencing, you would be overwhelmed. It would be awesome. You would be in a casino and it would be like, what's going on? It's great. I call it worthy of a backflip, even though I can't do a backflip anymore. And but 2.5% down would be like, this is the worst thing ever. So talking about 20% difference, 18% difference is just out there. So 75% is basically unused. Right. So let us go to, I want to kind of walk through this. As I said, it's our slots journey, and we're at Washington, and you'll need to start here, professorslots.com/WA for where you want to start if you want to start your journey in Washington. And I never say don't use what you know already, but this should complement, add to what you need. All right, so tribal lottery system. However, casinos. Let's take a quick look at Muckleshoot. So the largest casino in Washington is Muckleshoot. And if I go to gaming and I look at machines, well, first of all, notice how everybody's got their mouth open wide. They look like they're terrified, I think. But apparently this is marketing, and we will see more pictures of everybody's just having their mouth wide open. And they say they have more than 3,000 video gaming machines. Now, there's stuff and they also have a smoke-free facility in the private Facebook group for Washington. They talk about opinions about that, and there's a lot of opinions about that. It's a hot topic. But one of the things they aren't saying here is how many of which kind. And we'll get to this, but there's bingo style slot machines, and then there's this tribal lottery system, scratch ticket type lottery type slot machine, and they don't say how many they have of each. And this is typical. You go to it's really hard to get this information. If you go to Alabama, they don't have a compact, so you only have bingo style because they aren't allowed to have anything else. But then you go to like Oklahoma, tribal, which are all tribal casinos, and about 45% last recorded official information from like 3 years ago was they had 45% class 2 bingo style machines and 55% class 3 Vegas style machines. But not every casino is set up that way. It's just total for the state. So some casinos don't have any in some class 2, and others have more. This is all business related. This is all the state has Oklahoma has applied a lot of fees to Class 3 gaming, and tribes are like, man, we're losing money right and left. Let's offer Class 2 games, and therefore we don't have to legally pay the state their fee. And that has been an ongoing issue for a little while. 3,000, up more than 3,000 video gaming machines, whatever that means, at Muckleshoot. But Elani, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, we can go check there and look at gaming over here in the right menu, slots, and they say nearly 3,000 slot machines. Again, they don't say what they have. I love these photos here. Sometimes these are not current. And as you know from my strategy 9, I should stop using the numbers, location, that those machines which are highly visible from a distance, like these machines, and look like the entrance is over here, and some of these Enro machines would be the ones to play. I'm still not... don't think that strategy works in the state of Washington. I'd like to get confirmation of it. But I love seeing these kind of photos on the systems. Hard to get and usually out of date. Now, the tribal lottery system in Washington this is a history, and there's a timeline. And there's only a couple of points here I want to make, which is at a high level, the IGRA, Indian Gaming Regulatory Act of 1988, came out and said you can have a tribal casino, and if you have a compact negotiated with the state, you can offer Class 3 Vegas-style slot machines. Well, some people argued against that, and one of them was Texas, who said, we already have a law like that came out a couple of years before that, which takes precedent, and therefore we're not going to have tribal casinos. And if you're in Texas, you get that. And it's been a struggle. Now, in Washington, they had something similar happen, because part of the IGRA is that you can choose to object. And they were one of the ones that objected. They have already had an agreement that the tribes were sovereign nations. The state of Washington was a sovereign nation, which is, in the U.S. Supreme Court allowed that, and so it went that far. That meant that instead of 1989, tribal casinos opening a year after the IGRA came out, in 1997, 9 years later, they finally came up with a ruling on whether or not to have slot machines, and they decided to have this Appendix X in a proposed contract. Now, this meant basically established that the type of games would be online lottery, scratch tickets. There's other things about no cash in or cash out on the machines. Minimum prize payout 75%. We already know that. So this is maximum $5 per wager. This is a history, so some of these things get updated, and I'll show you that in a moment. Like already, we're seeing an initial $1,500 cap, but that eventually moved up to a $2,500 cap on the number of machines. How many machines each could have. They changed the wager amount to $20, but only on 15% of the machines. That the tribes didn't have to have a casino. They could allow their number that they are allowed to have of terminals to be leased out to another tribe's casino, so they can make money that way. And that's all, just the back and forth. Stick with me here on this. So we have casino locations. I've already shown you a map, but then these are each of the tribes, and one closed. And so you could, call them and ask questions. And when was the compact date? Some of them were very recently opened, 2002 versus 1992. And one was 2000. Elani opened most recently. They have a compact from 2014. I think that is. Oh no, we have Nooksack, Northwood Casino, which only has Class 3 machines, which means only has the scratch tickets and no bingo style machines. Its compact was 2 years ago. Not sure if they're open yet. It takes a couple of years to build these facilities. Right. And so that's the latest. And this is our journey. If you're in Washington and you want to know how to win, look at some of these things. Now, there's also table game rules, but these are tribal game rules, but none of these are for, this is all table games or like video poker. Those are, if that's of interest to you, that's fine. Gaming compacts, this is Appendix X was what allowed everything to happen, but they have had the fourth appendix amendments, fifth appendix amendments, and some of these things are like ticket in, ticket out machines being added and getting rid of cash and all of that. So if you have a particular casino, you might want to go see if they've maxed out on a number of slot machines that they would have. Okay, right. Rules. Gaming rules. One of the things that I'm trying to find here is the strategy of how to win. So there's basically the gaming regulations, and what we're looking for here is answers to particular questions. So let me explain the casino strategy. Actually, let me quickly check the live chat to see if there's any questions that I need to answer there. And then I'll just quickly explain the strategy and what information that we're looking for here. So let's see, Nicholas has left. Paula, would you please boot? It's Jay. Thank you. Let's see. Magpie, I had decent slot payout at, now I have to pronounce a word. Snoqualmie? I apologize for the mispronunciation. And Muckleshoot. I never knew Washington was running on the lottery system. They have a ton of small casinos in weird neighborhoods. Thank you for the firsthand information. Let's see. I was in Las Vegas. Where should I play slots and have a good chance of winning? Dustin asks a sort of off-topic question. Elani, thank you. Boticia Sounds. What a great name for trying to tell me how to pronounce Elani instead of Ilani. Elini. If you want to go to Las Vegas, I have an article on my website, professorslots.com/visiting-Las-Vegas, and you can learn a lot there. You can stick with strategy 1, the 5-pull method. Most the casinos on the Strip seem to have it, including New York. Let's see. Yes. Thank you, Pat. Pat says, I gamble for local casinos in Southwest Washington. All have some slots with a bingo card showing and most not. Right. And that's the ratio. They don't tell me online. You have to walk through the casino how many of them are for the state lottery and how many of them are bingo games that aren't through the state lottery, scratch ticket lottery. And we just saw, they have almost over 3,000, nearly 3,000 at these two casinos, Muckleshoot and Elena. So sorry for my mispronunciations. But they, those showing a bingo card are the bingo style class 2 machines that you might see in Oklahoma and Alabama, and those are based on the game of bingo. And again, those are machines where my strategies don't work. There is a separate strategy for them. I want to have a separate live stream on how to win on them. It's like this Washington slots where they're a little bit more unique than most other places, and I've focused on most other places. I've tried to reach the largest audience by providing slot strategies that work for them. But these Class 2 bingo style slot machines, I haven't provided a strategy for them. Money management and loss limits and all that still apply, being safe and etc. But the winning slot strategies for these bingo style machines isn't something I've provided a strategy on how to win, because there's none near me. There's some 300 miles. There's one casino 300 miles away. There's I think the other one is 600 miles away, and that's the 3 or 4 Wetumpka in Alabama, and then 900 miles away is Oklahoma City, where I would learn a lot more. So one of the surest ways, there's really 2 ways to tell if you're playing, and AJ asked that question. Never mind, Paula. If I don't have the bingo card showing, does that mean they have Class 2 for sure? If they do have a bingo card showing, it means it's Class 2 for sure. If they do have it showing. If it's a VGT, that's a name of a company. It also happens to be other states that use video gaming terminals. But there's a company called VGT, which makes most of Class 2 machines. If it says VGT on it, that is another way to know that it's a bingo machine, but it should also have a card, and that's how you tell. It should be 90% sure, either one way or the other, whether or not it's a bingo style machine. Thank you for the question, AJ. Yep. And Botisha Sounds says, I tried your 5-spin taster method at Alina. They were tight. It was a quick bust. And that's why I provide a test method, so you don't spend much money finding that out. That's the case. If you had played a scratch ticket, that would have happened. If you played a bingo style, that would have happened. And so that's what happens. And that's why the strategy, I don't want people to waste their time on that. And Pat says, another strange issue just about no slots offer multi-denomination. Okay. This is how valuable it is to talk to people who actually go into the casino and provide this information. And it's hard to get this details from a distance. Okay, let's talk about how to win. If you've been to a convenience store and you've seen rolls of scratch tickets, right? This is basically what's going on with these slot machines, Class 3 slot machines, based on the scratch ticket lottery in the state of Washington. There is a collection of tickets. These are virtual, electronic collection of tickets, and they make them in batches. Now, they send this batch to a casino for their Class 3 scratch ticket slot machines based on the tribal lottery system. And it only goes on a few slot machines. And when they run out, they get more. And so they come in. So you basically have a group of slot machines, might be a dozen, who are working through a batch of tickets, which might be 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000. What I don't know, and what these gaming regs that I was trying to show you, is somewhere in here is the size of a batch. And somewhere in there is the size of the number of slot machines that are grouped together in a casino that that one batch is applied to. It won't be which slot machines. It will just be how many slot machines. So you might have a group of 12, and you might have a batch that lasts, well, this is where it gets complicated. How long does it last? Well, it depends on how many people are playing that batch of slot machines. They could go through it quickly, but not too quickly. Otherwise, it's just, hard for the casino to keep up. So let's call it 10,000 tickets on a dozen slot machines. And so the strategy is based on that information. And I have talked to, had paid consultations with, come on, where's my mouse? Have had paid consultations. Mouse is not working. Come on. I've had paid consultations where we sat down and talked about this. This individual that I was talking with said that they had dug through these rules and found that information. But in general, the approach is, it would be great to know how many there were and stuff, but it's additional details. And if you are in Washington, you want to try to look that up. I was hoping to just spot it, but I haven't been able to spot it during this live stream. So the idea is to play through a batch. Now, what's interesting is that they don't set the theoretical payout of 75% to a batch. The average return on a batch is not 75%. Apparently, it's a whole bunch of batches, maybe all those that were made in a day. It could be, I'm just throwing out numbers here, 100 batches. There's 3,000 slot machines. Could be 100 batches. And so the average for many batches has to be above 75%. But some batches have a better return than other batches. And what you're looking for is to play a group of slot machines in a Washington casino, which are not bingo machines, that are grouped in a particular area, and play those machines with nobody else near you. The nearest 12 machines by yourself, maybe a slow time, maybe in a corner of the casino, whatever. You play those machines alone, so you are the only person playing through that batch, and you play long enough to know if you have a good batch or a bad batch. If you aren't winning, then you need to move to another area with its dozen or so slot machines, 12, 20, whatever. And by yourself, nobody else near you, and play again to see if you've got a good batch, because there's good batches with lots of wins in the roll, and there's bad batches where there's few wins in the roll, and you're looking to play a good batch by yourself so that you don't share with some other person who's gambling next to you. Unless that's your spouse or your friend. And so once you find, one of you play these types of slot machines, the ones based on the lottery system, not the bingo ones, and see if you have a good batch. If you do, have your friend come over and sit next to you and just work through that batch as quickly as possible before somebody else comes over and realizes what's happening and gets their share. And then stop when you start losing, because that means you switch to a losing roll, a losing batch. You don't know when it's going to be over, so you have to kind of watch for the losses and then begin again. Go to another part of the casino, try to find a good batch on a collection of slot machines which only you and your closest friends are playing, if any, and that's the procedure here. Let me see if I have any questions. Pat says no slots offer multi-denomination. Multi-denomination is interesting. I can see how scratch tickets might not be able to offer this, and bingo might be able to. So I would say that they would show up first on the bingo machines, but those are sometimes legacy systems owned by the tribal casino, and it can all be very difficult. The reason why multi-denomination is so popular everywhere, it's growing to replace penny machines. You remember how penny machines, there are only a few of them like 10 years ago, and then they kind of swept through, and now it's 80% or more of all slot machines in a casino. That's what's happening now, where multi-denomination machines are replacing penny machines. And part of all that has to do with how casinos did anybody notice this? I noticed on Mother's Day. I couldn't believe it. Minimum bets are no longer 1 cent, no longer 1 credit. A nickel machine, it's the minimum bet is 9 credits, 45 cents. When did they start raising the minimum bet? And so denominations, that's one thing they've done. The other thing is that they switch out machines to be multi-denomination so that people can spend more money, and maybe not even realize it. Okay, so both mutacious sounds. I'm self-conscious about how I speak now. They wants to try out Spirit Mountain in Oregon. Love that casino. What's interesting about Oregon is if you look into the menu and you have a particular slot machine you like to play, you can go to professorslots.com/OR for this. You can look up what the return is on that machine, the theoretical payout precisely for that machine, if you know the name of the machine. Now, or rather, if you sat down with the machine. But if you also know the name of the machine, you can go to the State Gaming Commission and look it up there for that type, that game theme. And if that helps you, then, good. Big J Rich, video poker in Washington is also scratch ticket based. Remember I said every state is special, just like every other state. This is something that is an assumption a lot of people make. A lot of people play video poker in the state of Nevada. Well, the state of Nevada has a gaming reg that says it has to be based on the card game of poker. The probabilities cannot change based on the rules. Has to be as though you're playing a card game. No random number generator that is flexible and has different settings and all the stuff you see in the patents. No, it is. If it has this rules, it has to be what the odds are mathematically for that game. There's many different types of poker. But that's not true. I haven't found another state that has that law. So if gaming reg. So if you go to a casino and want to play video poker and people ask me, do my slot strategies apply to video poker? I'll say outside of Nevada, yeah, but I haven't I'm not a video poker expert. I'm a slots expert. So I've gone to, I haven't gone to every state gaming commission. I mean, I gave you an example of what all this looks like. To go to gaming regs and go through these topics and these different sections and trying to find one statement that may be a little unclear. Nevada isn't. It's very clear. And to try to understand what's going on there. So you kind of need to be a video poker expert. But a lot of people assume that that their video poker machine in North Carolina or Oregon or Washington is the same as that in Nevada. And Nevada's unique with that statement. And that's something to be aware of. Okay. We've got, let's see, someone just said hello. Yes, Pat. Washington does not publish the size of a batch for the scratch tickets. Batch size can matter, but it's also you can do an engineering estimate that would be fairly reasonable, right? You don't really need to know the size of the batch. You just need to know that there's a section of the casino, if you're alone, that you're on a batch, and it lasts as long as it lasts. I mean, if you found a winning batch and it goes for a while, was it because it had a second winning batch? The next batch that was loaded was also a winner. You have to play. If you win, you're on a good batch until you're not on a good batch. You could have started in the middle of the batch, and if people wanted to dig into this and perform their own tests, they could determine a batch size, or they could determine what batch size roughly they were on. So it's not absolutely necessary, but the concept of a batch is what you need to know, and that it's applied to a group of machines close together. How many doesn't matter. The biggest problem here is going to the casino when it's not busy and avoiding bingo machines, because this is what works on scratch ticket machines. Okay. Angel of Winds. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. And Rick says, if there are scratch ticket type machines in other states than Washington, there is not. I guess I could read the rest of the question. Is there an indicator icon on the machine that shows it? No, this is the gaming regs. They don't accidentally have them. Only Washington has scratch tickets. If you get used to that sort of idea of the scratch tickets, I wouldn't be, it's been, how many years has it been now? It has been many years, 97. So it's been over 20 years. 25 years nearly, where if other states wanted to do this, they would. I think Washington slots are really fair. I mean, I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have, I'd have one strategy if every state had the one I just mentioned. If every state had this system, it's pretty fair. It's still possible to win, but because they don't have this system, then that's why my business can exist. I think it's pretty interesting. If you yes, Magpie talks about the Wizard of Odds. There's also a gentleman, he may have retired by now, Bob Dancer. He has a good book, and he did offer some practice software for video poker for those people who are interested. But also the gaming regulations. You need to check the gaming regulations to see if it truly is video poker or if it's a video poker slot machine. And if it is in Nevada, that's the full story, Wizard of Odds. But if it's not Nevada, then you need to check the gaming regs to see if they have the same statement in the gaming regs. And if they do not, then it's a slot machine. And so the video poker resource for Nevada would only be half the story. And the other half would be use my strategies to see crowd facing video poker machines and play them when it's busy. That works great for a couple of you. I don't know if Steve's here today, where let's see. Yeah, that works great for in North Carolina, just by that loophole. Yes, that is something that someone makes a statement that Triple Fortune Dragon Unleashed seems to be the most popular for play in Washington. Doesn't mean most people are winning. It just means it's popular. Distinction there. There are more jackpots for each day on this machine. Well, if it's most popular, then it would be, but still, are you winning? And so one of the things that I did notice was in one of these gaming setups, was it Muckleshoot or Elon? Come on. They celebrate celebration winners, jackpot winners. And they show these short videos of people holding up stuff, and some of these are showing the different videos. So this can be useful. One of the things that's useful here is if you're in a casino in a state where, other than Washington, if you want to know when somebody won, as a good time to go play that machine, sometimes these videos have a timestamp. A day and a time, day of the week and a timestamp. That's a good time to play in those casinos. It doesn't, one of these strategies that doesn't work in Washington, but this is the sort of information you can find on some casino websites. All these dates and times, and they're sitting right there when they won. So go play on that day of the week at that time, maybe 5-10 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier, and do that. Okay. Yes. On some machine, on Bingo, I need to have a different live stream once I have more information that I've tried things on. That means I have to travel. You can look up some of the whatever you're going to get resources for bingo slot machines, but they often will have not always, a bingo card kind of displayed, and sometimes you are allowed to switch it, and there's patterns on that sometimes are more conducive to winning, and that's basically, that might end up being the only winning strategy for bingo style slot machines if you have machines of that type, and those the diamond pattern and other different types of patterns on those is what people talk about. Okay, so I want to check to see Barry Beryl Boone has a question. Do you have to bet the max in the Highland room to get a hand payout? It's just analyze that question. If you play $100 machine, nearly anything you might get like a cherry, and you might win $500. That's not a hand pay. So you bet a $5,000 bet, and everything will be a hand pay. That doesn't mean your odds are good. The assumption is that the more you bet, bigger bets have better results, and that's just not true. I've seen it happen in Las Vegas stats. There's 6 states that have return statistics by slot machine denomination, and I was surprised. One time, I think it was March of this year, they actually had them in order from, of course, penny slots were the worst as usual, but otherwise it just got better odds as you went up. And I was like, wow, so it can happen. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. And so if you want a better return, you don't have to bet bigger bets. If you want to get a hand pay, some of us like to have hand pays. I've got, quite a few, and that is something that can be some people wait for that, but that's just getting a hand pay, and that's not necessarily winning. All right, I am over time, so I am going to wish everyone a great day. Have fun, be safe, make good choices. Bye. Here's the audio recording of my latest live stream Q&A session on Professor Slots upgrades to my updated online course. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my home. I'm here with one of my co-hosts, 2 of my co-hosts. You can see one of the co-hosts. That's Hetty. And welcome. My 2 of my new rescue cats. Any case, welcome to my home. On midnight on Sunday last weekend, I successfully updated my online course, 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win. Since so many of you have purchased this course already, and of course have lifetime access to all future updates, including this last one, I thought it appropriate to go over what's new and improved about the course. It's been a long year with offering an online course, my very first, where in the first few months of 2021, I went through the decision-making process to make an online course for slots enthusiasts, something that has not been done. There's a few out there that might be like a single video once a year or something like that. And I haven't bothered to purchase those. As my audience members tell me, I'm it. So I wanted to think long and hard about the online course and what would be the first thing to offer and naming it and everything. So that was the first few months of 2021. And next, I started planning out its content, what should go in it, what shouldn't go in it. Understanding that I'm building a customer journey, as the business folks say, of which I guess I'm a member, where I wanted to make sure that in this first course, I've covered the basics, but also trying to be helpful to actually give something useful. And I have gotten some concerns from people about how I don't have exclusive content there. that doesn't hardly matter. If you've been with me from the beginning, and some of you in the live chat have been with me from the beginning, 5 years ago, when I was just, no real website, no podcast, I just talked to you in a casino. Some of you have followed all my content this whole time, but that means you're caught up. But so many people, particularly since October, when I went over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, becoming monetized, as they say, and not that that's a big deal, but an important first step. But now I just went over 26,000. So I've grown a lot, and that's 25,000 people who haven't known me more than, back to October or less. And so there is a lot of content that to go through, and it takes time, hours and hours. And or maybe you follow my podcast or my website and all of these things. So mostly people are finding me with YouTube. That's where a lot of the growth is. Well, it was where a lot of the growth is, and still kind of is the place. But we'll talk about Facebook in a little bit. Some updates on that. Right. So stepping forward into 2021, I planned out the content, and I decided to pre-launch the course. I don't mean to get into technical details. What do they call it? Don't mean to tell you how the sausage is made. Nobody's interested in how the sausage is made. But I spent some time setting up a pre-launch before I finished the course, just to see if there'd be interest. I've always been very cautious about, slots gambling, and as well as setting up a course. And I wanted to see if people were interested. Well, surprise, surprise, lots of people were interested. So that meant that I will get to the donations in just a minute. Thank you so much, Sparty Pants. Oh my goodness. Right. Let me. There's a few things I got set up in the last minute. Okay, so once I pre-launched the course, found out how many people were very interested in it. Of course, then I had to launch and had built the course and put everything together. And so I did. I launched the course so you could actually take the course, the beta version, on May 7th. A lot of people don't know what beta version means. It's a software term for, it's the software package is kind of working. It doesn't have every feature we want, and it's a little bit clunky, but maybe we can put it out to people and see if they like it. And we'll fix it as we go, and that experience with beta testers would help us improve the final product. And that's exactly why I called it a beta version, because I put in each section, 7 sections, had a place for the beta testers. And guys and gals, thank you so much for all your input. They could put in what they thought about the course and what might need to be fixed and changes and this and that. So that was the beta version, which then needed to be improved with a lot of suggestions. Not all of them have been applied. But now on Sunday of this last 2 months, 3 months, I've been working on the non-beta version and finally launched it, this upgraded course, at midnight on Sunday last week. Phew. I have to say that was a very busy 8 months. I know it's one launch of a course, but it was actually like 5 different launches, deciding to do it, pre-launching, actual pre-launch orders, actually launching, et cetera, and et cetera. So it's been 8 months. And while this upgraded version, and I wanted to let everybody know, including those of you who have purchased the course, hundreds of you, that there is surprisingly few changes in the content itself, but many improvements, somewhat contradictory, many improvements that you should know about. So let's go over them today. But first, we have a few donations already. So Smarty Pants says, hi, John. This is from 2 hand bays in first week of August. Haven't been able to join since then. Since the casinos issued their Q2 reports, winning has been a chum bucket. So you're from the South, right? and sad face. Yes, we're seeing a lot of that. One of the things I point out in the course is how it's such a dynamic environment. And by the way, Smarter Pants, thank you so much for the donation. It really helps keep things going. I have some changes coming up and everything costs. So much appreciated. Thank you. Right. And there's some questions, but I will come to those when we have a different break. But thank you so much for that donation. Let me clear that. Right. So, and if you listen carefully, you might actually hear Isaac in the downstairs bedroom barking. I just took him out, so I'm not sure what that's all about. I'll see what happens after the live stream. I have a new puppy, in case you're new. His name is Isaac, and I have something to share for you in a moment. But getting back to this last 8 months, I have some, the content in the course hasn't changed. Everything has been updated, including all lesson videos, as well as relatively small updates to the tasks and resources. And I'll go over some of these, the ones I think that you should know about, those of you that have purchased it, and those of you who are still thinking about purchasing it. So you understand now what the non-beta version is getting at the no longer discounted price. So, and we'll get through this step by step. So thank you again so much to the beta testers of the initial course version. I was collecting your comments for improvements all the way up to switching out the course at midnight last Sunday. So this course update doesn't include all your suggestions because they were still coming in until I switched it over, 5 days ago. So one of the updates, and I don't know if the mic is sensitive enough to hear Isaac barking downstairs. Maybe one of the cats is teasing him. But first, this course update now has closed captions for those with hearing loss. That was a request from the beta testers, which I took seriously. That feature takes some time to create, partly because I don't automate it. I do them by hand so that they're 100% accurate, rather than paying an artificial intelligence to make them 90% accurate. As we were just seeing on a comment we'll go over from Smarty Pants about how Facebook is ignorant of strategies and YouTube teachings. What's a payout percentage? Wow. So these artificial intelligence don't know some of the special words that we like to use. What is a jackpot? Pay table. Isn't that supposed to be pay table, not pay table? And so there's a lot of inaccuracies, particularly with our special words. Anyway, as a podcaster, I've been doing transcriptions, and it's just easiest if I keep it more accurate, 100% accurate if I do them myself, but it takes time. So because of the time it takes, a few lessons don't yet have them, but I'm about 2/3 of the videos do, but I'm completing the closed captioning for those lessons without them at about 1 or 2 a day. All videos will have closed captions in about a week or so. Also, truck drivers and others who travel for a living requested downloadable audio files to put on their phone and listen while they drive. So yes, every video lesson now has those available. These audio files have been saved as typical podcast MP3 files, and just to make sure their sound is of good quality, I process their sound levels to be podcast quality. Please enjoy. Otherwise, I felt that the beta version of the course had too many live resources. I suppose this is a big change, but it's actually a big improvement is what it is. I felt like the beta course, when I planned out all the content, some of the content I hadn't made a short video. I have these live streams, hour-long live streams, but I also have short videos, some of them 15 seconds. And I didn't have everything that I wanted for the beta course, but I had talked about a topic in the live stream. So while I did, I am aware that I ramble a bit in my live streams. How could I not be aware? That's deliberate, because these live streams are meant to build community with my established audience. Live streams aren't designed for newcomers looking for informational videos, also known as discoverable content. Here we talk and chat, and I talk about my rescue cats and how that's going, and I talk about the new puppy, which I'll give you guys an update. I was already being asked about that. But the live streams aren't designed for newcomers. And while these live streams serve a specific purpose, Magpie 11 says the course is great and PS is getting better and better. Thank you, Magpie. And if you listen to my podcast, that's probably my number one comment for at least the podcast was, you're really getting better, because podcasts are forever. And technically, I could take down some of the earlier episodes. On YouTube, I've been doing live streams for November will be 2 years. Is that right? Yeah, November 2019. I had a few a month or so earlier this year, and then in January I think I skipped a couple of weekends. Otherwise it's been full on every weekend. Now, why can't you see those on YouTube? Because they were topical. What's going on? All the casinos closed, back during when the pandemic started, and those aren't particularly useful anymore. I haven't deleted them. I've just what they call unlisted them. Now, I've taken the audio from my live streams and I put it into a podcast. Welcome to my podcast, everybody. So this audio is going into the podcast. So if you ever want to listen to every one of my live streams, you won't have a picture, but you'll have the audio in my podcast. Everything's called Professor Slots. Just look up Professor Slots. I also have an online app for my podcast only, which is available for Android and iOS, Professor Slots. It's a little hard to find. And if you need to email me at john@professorslots, I'll send you the direct link, because there's a lot of phone apps that have to do with slot machines. And so it's hard to find the one called Professor Slots, because they lump everything that says slots in the title. But I can give you the direct link for that if you want to let me know. It's all free content, but or you can just go to your favorite podcast app. I'm on all of them, Spotify and everything. So I felt that the beta version of the course had too many live stream resources. And so each one is an hour. And because I ramble a bit, it took hours for people to get through that content. Each live stream serves a specific purpose, but I realized when creating the beta course that I didn't have enough short videos on certain topics that did have that content, but I did have that content in live stream. So in the beta version, I extensively used the live streams in the videos resources of many lessons, and this is one of the improvements I believe Magpie is talking about with this upgraded version. There is a reason why it was $100 off, and there's a reason why it's not a beta course anymore, not $100 off. And I've got a whole list of things that you might find interesting. Those who are currently in the course and those who might still be on the fence about whether or not to get it. So most of those live stream resources are now gone. I think I still might have like one or something. Most of those are gone in the updated course because they are no longer needed. And instead, I now succinctly present that content in each lesson video without having to listen to those hour-long live streams. You can now take the course, just making sure I'm not falling behind, those resources are gone. Without having to listen to those hour-long live streams, you can now take the course in hours and hours less time. For the current participants in the course, I don't want to call you students, participants, there is one unforeseen consequence for updating the course. Unfortunately, where you left off in your studies has been lost within the course. You please accept my apologies for this occurrence. Hopefully you know exactly where you left off and which lessons had already been done. Again, I'm sorry for any inconvenience that may have caused. One of the things I want to mention is there is another update. It has to do with all the beta tester comments and all the suggestions made there about improving the course. I've only taken a couple of those things, the closed captioning, the audio files for travelers who for audio file for travelers, and I have a lot more of those to go over and improve, or find another way to provide that content in a video or elsewhere, which we'll talk about. So when I do another update, which might be 6 months from now, 4 to 6 months from now, I will look into seeing if there's any way that I can not make you lose where you're at. I'm not sure that there is technically a way to do that. If I replace content with something better, I would like you to know that you haven't seen it, right? So I apologize for this inconvenience. But there is one video lesson which has gained a whole lot more content. If you are a course participant, make sure you watch the additional content added to the last video in the introduction section. Work through this course with me. So I will share and show that. So if you go into, I will show you where that's at. So under the, this is the page, courses.professorslots.com. And you can go to my professorslots.com and you can click this link right at the top, go to my online course, that green button at the top of every page at professorslots.com. And if you do that, you will come to this landing page. And under course curriculum, I give a free preview of the main course goal of the course. You can watch that if you haven't paid for the course, but everything else you have to pay for to access. But this, in the first introduction, before we start getting into the lessons, is the last one is work through this course with me. And I again, this isn't exactly lessons, it's an introduction. So I will share that with you. You made it. Welcome. I am so excited that you made it here to this course, 30 Days to Playing Slots Smarter and Win. I can't wait to hear about all the tremendous growth that your slots gambling is going through as a result of you not just learning this information, but actually implementing it and doing all the tasks I'm going to assign to you for this course. This is not just about learning information. This is about doing. And I want to see you getting the results that come with it. To help you get started, I want to quickly introduce you to how do you access this course now that you're here. When at any point, whenever you want to come back to start working through this material, you can go to courses.professorslots.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you will see that sign in link. You can simply click on sign in, use your login credentials you created when you bought the course, and then from there, you will see all the courses that you've enrolled in will be right in front of you. You can see 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win, and click the Resume Course button right there at the bottom, and it'll take you right back to wherever you left off as you were going through the course material. Now that you're logged in, if you look up at the right corner of the screen now, it'll show your first name and your last initial, maybe, and if you hover your mouse over that, there will be a drop-down menu there that appears where you can manage your accounts, update your passwords, get billing information. You can set like an avatar for your account if you'd like, and just kind of manage your whole course access and account stuff there. And if you have any questions or bump into any issues you can't access, the course isn't advancing for you, any problems at all, then reach out to us at support@professorslots.com, and I will be happy to get back in touch with you as soon as I can and help you take those next steps and resolve whatever issues you have so that you can get back to learning this material and accessing everything I have here for you. Now, before we get started, I want to introduce you to an opportunity that we have here for you. I have seen hundreds of people go through this process we're about to teach you in this 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win course, and the things that really separate the people from the people who get the results and the people who don't are, one, the people who actually do the work, but then two, also the people who are doing this in the context of a community of other slots enthusiasts because they have a place where they're getting feedback and they're asking asking questions and they're getting new ideas and they're constantly being challenged with different perspectives and things. Those are the people who win at this process. And so I wanted to give you access to a community, not just the material, but to other people who can help you do that. Now, I know it's common for online courses now to offer online communities, but I want to do something different. I want to give you not just access to each other, but I also wanted to be able to give you access to myself. It's not just another Facebook group where you end up sometimes with a lot of people pulling their ignorance together. I will be in there with you, answering your questions, giving you feedback, and helping you along every step of this process you're going to be going through for the next 30 days. And perhaps the thing I love most about this growth network is that it's also a place where you can share your results with a community of people who are going to celebrate with you, are going to rejoice with you. They're going to encourage you and make you even more motivated to keep going than you ever thought you could be before. And it's also a place where you're going to see the results other people are getting, and you're going to be motivated and encouraged and be like, that's what this process does. I can see it. It's working for them. I'm going to work it, and that motivates you. Not just to go through some material, but to do the work that's going to get you the results. So this community that I have is called the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network. And this opportunity is access to that community. You get 24/7 access to it, where we do a lot of cool things in this community. It's not just a place for you to kind of ask questions whenever you need it, but we're actively engaged there with you. Every week, we are posting new updated challenges for us to do and complete together as a community at our casinos that are intended to drive more growth and improvement to your gambling goals. We're also highlighting different case studies behind what's happening between slots enthusiasts that are winning at their casinos and what we are learning from them that we can implement at our casinos. And often what I love is that usually slots enthusiasts in our community that we get to highlight and show this is what they're doing at their casinos that's really working and encouraging you on how the people in our community are winning as well. We also do feedback every Friday, and it's not just from our peers, although you get a lot of feedback from your peers and you give them that as well. But I'll be in there giving feedback to you as well as a slots strategist who has worked with high-level clients will be in there giving you feedback as well. And then we also do a monthly Q&A webinar, live stream type of thing, where if you can't join, you can ask questions ahead of time. I'll answer them in the session, and then you can watch the recording later, or you can join us live and vote on people's questions, rank them up and down, and we get to just interact with you guys and make sure that we can just sit down and talk about your questions and your roadblocks and your issues and give you feedback and all that kind of stuff there in a live experience as well. I'll do that every month, and really, this is all about giving you access to people who are going to encourage you, support you, and help you along this journey. Now, because I'm so actively involved in this community, giving my time and dedication to it, and even creating extra bonus trainings that you'll get instant access to as well once you join the network, it does come with a monthly fee. But because you have purchased 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win, you get access to it for 1 month, totally free. No commitment whatsoever, just to check it out and take advantage of it for the next 30 days for free while you go through this 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win process. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your casino. I want to get to know all your questions. I want to help you and serve you the best way that I can inside this network at no additional cost for you for the next 30 days. Now, if you want to keep going after 30 days, then you'll start getting billed the monthly fee. You can cancel at any time before then. It's super easy. All you do is go to the billing section of your account and then just click the cancel button next to it, and it'll just end. That's it. That's all it takes. But if you do love it and you do see the value in it and you're getting the results from it that you really want to see at your casino, then you can just do nothing, and it'll just start automatically billing you at that monthly rate here in 30 days from now. So all you have to do to take advantage of this free month of access as a 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win customer is click the button below this video on this page and you can get in. You'll go through a checkout process very quickly. You don't have to enter a lot of information again or anything. You just go through it, confirm that you want this thing, and then you'll be ushered right into the information that tells you how to access this community. You get an email sent to you automatically that will have a join link for you to click and follow to create your account there, and you get all set up and ready to go. If you're not interested, simply click the downgrade button at the bottom of this video and you'll go straight to the coursework for 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win. But if you do join us, you'll get access to me and a community of other like-minded like-minded slots enthusiasts who are going to really help you take full advantage of this course completely for free for the next 30 days just to check it out. See if it's right for you or not. So click the button down below to start your free trial, then look for that welcome email that'll have a link in there for you to click. You create your account over in our network, and I will see you there in just a minute. So to be clear, I've added this free month of access to my new paid community for purchasers of my online course. If you haven't purchased my course, you can't get it. 1 month of free access is primarily to help you through the course, so you don't have to go through it alone. Up until, again, one of the reasons why it was a beta course is because it didn't have everything that I wanted to have in it to start. And so this is one of the things I had planned from the beginning to include. So far, everybody since May 7th, everybody's been, kind of alone. Not kind of alone. I mean, some people have emailed me, and that's great, but there hasn't been like a community for you. And I think this really works a whole lot better with the ability to bounce ideas off of other people who are in the course. Now, this is not Facebook, where I don't even try to correct people. I just let them go and enjoy themselves and run rampant, as long as they don't, aren't advertising for recreational vehicles or other slots channels, because, that's a paid opportunity when they have to contract with me to be able to do that. I didn't put my blood, sweat, and tears for 22 years into building Facebook groups just for other people to freely get access, who are making money by when their posts end up in there. So those are removed. I wish I could leave some things in there, but too many spammers, those that are doing RV sales, those that are doing other slots channels. I'd love to be able to put in a few educational videos from other slots channels, but then, the dam breaks as far as, well, if you can do that, I can do this, and blah, blah, blah. So, all went on. And I don't want everybody to be subjected to constant advertising. I think it's one of the reasons why the success has been there for Professor Slots enthusiasts, which we'll go over, because it is a safe environment where there's not a lot of profanity, abuse, and all the things that Facebook dislikes, but more. In any case, I have a bit more to talk about on Facebook in a moment. So you get 1 month of free access to this perk. I've had a comment in the live chat already about, well, why shouldn't it be like something similar to Amazon Prime? And I wonder if I should set up a yearly purchase like Amazon has. So you buy access for a year, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think you only need it for the first month. And then if you find value, if you get Amazon Prime, do you have meetings with Jeff Bezos? No, you don't. So I'm satisfied with the price point. I put some effort into it. It is the price that it is. It is likely to go up, partly because I'm thinking about adding another tier. We all have players clubs, right? And there's tiers and players clubs. I was thinking about in a year or so that have a VIP section, but that's I have all these plans. That's next. That's not for 6 months or a year as this grows. So for now, it is a cheap monthly fee. So let's see here. Again, if you haven't purchased my course, you can't get it. The 1 month of free access is a perk, and so you don't have to go through the course alone. As you're going through 30 days to play Slot Smarter and Win process as a participant, I'd highly recommend you dive into that growth network and start engaging and getting that accountability. It is currently available for those of you who have the course. Beneath that video, under this section here, can you see my mouse? Work through this course with me. Beneath that video, if you go there to the fourth video at the beginning of the course on the introduction section, there is a link, and that is your link to start your free month. And why won't my mouse work? Oh, that's awesome. I love doing this when anyway, I used to point, I try to take my mouse and point to the wall sometimes when I was at work, and I was like, no, it has to be on the screen. Particulars of working in a aerospace engineering corporation. So there's several features. You can start engaging, getting that accountability. You can meet other people for collaboration, meet other people who are near you. There's a feature in there for that. So it shows me being in Dayton, Ohio, and so you can network with people who are in your geographical area, location, and everything. I hope you take me up on this, and I'm not just trying to make a sale here. I'm telling you the truth. So let's look into the live chat and say hello. I think there's been a few comments that might relate to some of what we're talking about now. So let me share some of this. I think I said hello to TJ already and Wes. Wes has asked for an update on Isaac. Now might be a great time to give you an update on Isaac. So let's try this here. I'll go from the course. So I have I'll preface this first for you. When TikTok came out, I made sure to get at Professor Slots so that no one else would take it. Well, I haven't checked it, and it turns out perhaps a fan in the live stream right now, I don't know, created at Professor_Slots and has been doing quite well on TikTok, showing my videos, including the first one that's available to everybody from the course. And while I am a little, while that's a copyright violation, doesn't mean I'm angry, but it is also something that business-wise, not good. But on the other hand, looks like I would do well in TikTok if I were to engage in TikTok. So I did. Now, this all happened because I've been taking my dog, my puppy, Isaac, to, as of Wednesday, to puppy kindergarten with a little bit of training thrown in. And the training, they made a video of the training for me, based on 3 days of training, each one an hour long for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, these last 2 days. And they made a TikTok video with music. And I'm going to show it to you. And this is my treat to you about my intern. Stop. Let me share it first. And there we are. And let me see if I can share. So I thank you for letting me share that with you. It's been awesome to have them get some training and socialization. It's very important for puppies for their adult life to be socialized, and so that's part of the reason why I did it. It also helps me because puppies take a lot of energy, and now I have like a break during the day. But the socialization is most important. So I hope that I hope that you like that. And we were going through, not to be just too distracted, we were going through the questions in live chat. I don't know where someone asked where Chuck was, and I don't know. Chuck didn't send me an email or let me know what's going on. I know Steve is on the road, traveling to Cherokee in North Carolina. Larry, hey Larry, welcome. Good to see you. Is in England, in the UK. It's cold and wet. And been looking forward to today's show, but unfortunately, I don't think spritz are allowed in the States this year. It's turning into something again. Somebody was asking me, so what will the casinos close again, and what will that mean? And I said, well, hey, we've been through it in like the last year. Maybe I should not have unlisted all those videos, live streams where we talked about what could it possibly mean? Have they all closed? Are they starting to open? What does this mean? What does this mean? So maybe I'll relist some of those if that happens again, which I hope it doesn't, because that's not good. Jill is here. Great to see you again. I'm glad you're here. And Heather, and you were starting to stress me out. I get a note afterwards. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. And great, Heather, you made it. Wonderful. Valentine, one of my students, one of the course participants, is here. That's great. Tanik, hi back. And let's see, Steve is here, longtime fan. Longtime fan Steve is here. He's from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Well, hello. And Haley Crocodile Free Sheet Music, who I happen to know is that person's first name, it's 6 p.m. now, so he's in Europe. You already gave it away with the time zone, what time it was. Yes. Oh, Haley Crocodile Free Sheet Music says there's some glitches in the audio, or is it me? It's always a question. It could be both. Now, I am removing the possibility of it being me, or at least severely reducing it. In this last year, as you know, we had a pandemic, and people are working at home even more. So I realized, with a little bit of the blurriness that I've been seeing in the live stream in the last few weeks, I thought, it's been a year and a half since I checked with my internet provider to see if they have better bandwidth. And what do you know? They do. It's for the YouTubers. They had no such category a year and a half ago, but now they have 3 times the upload speed. I don't care about download speed. I'm uploading. That's what's important to me for you guys. And so while that does cost, and I do appreciate the donations to help defer the monthly bill that I'm now going to be paying, that is getting installed tomorrow. I thought about not having a live stream today just because one more bit of blurriness, and I don't know how much of this is blurry, or how often it's blurry, but should be a thing of the past starting with next week. Now, I expect to have a live stream next weekend. The reason why I was considering it is I believe it's the U.S. major holiday, right? Labor Day weekend, but people travel a lot, and having a podcast episode to listen to on the road, that's hour and a half long, hour and usually 10, 15 minutes, because I add stuff to the podcast more than the live stream audio. It's helpful for when traveling. So you don't have to be here for the live stream. Please enjoy your weekend, but it'll be here for you. So I'll pick a content and present that. I don't plan on traveling with my highly susceptible status of the county I live in, near Dayton, having to do with the pandemic. I'll stay home, and so I will keep doing that. Next week, even though it was next week, and even though it was a holiday. So questions. Magpie asked, "Where's Chuck?" I don't know where Chuck is. Yes, consider the perk that I've added as a continued support. If it's not worth it to you, I may be wrong on the price point, but I don't think I am based on the research that I've done. If everybody decides that after a month they don't want it, despite all the things that I will be offering, and we'll go over some of them, then that is what it is. Thank you for saying that's a cute video of Isaac. I've shared it with my family, and it's just like, oh my goodness. They said they were going to send me a video of his training. I didn't realize it was going to be on TikTok. Right. Oh, TikTok at Professor Slots. Be careful of the at Professor_Slots. That's somebody who's been basically doing copyright infringement and uploading my stuff. Apparently, they're a fan, but nevertheless. Yes, absolutely. I considered not having a live stream today because of the severe weather threat that's in the Gulf states. I decided to do it anyway. Whenever there's severe weather, take care of yourself, please. You can always watch the live stream, even the ones that I don't keep. I usually keep for at least a week. Then I might unlist them if they don't perform well. So you have some time, and please, your safety is what's most important, please. So yes, we have this. Yes, I'm getting there, Smarty Pants. Let's see. Yeah, and Smarty Pants was like, I think them closing might actually help me win again. Yes, the rumbling is that after Labor Day, after the summer economy, they'll start shutting down again. We will see what we will see, but at least last year it was just a big mystery, and this year, well, we have last year behind us. And right, and let's see. We have a comment. I did win $20,000 in the last 15 days. You want to donate $20 to the show? Just kidding. Just kidding. I think that's funny. I'm so happy for you. You don't have to donate. But people tell me all this money that they're winning, and I'm just like, $20 going to kill you? No. I got internet to pay for now, more of it. So did my casino challenge. I stayed every day, mostly worked the machines late at night at 14 something pace. Good for you. One of the things I've pointed out in my course is that patterns exist. How huge is that? If plenty of people are like, I don't, I think it's all random, and therefore for me, it is all random, and I'll behave in a random manner because it doesn't matter. And I'm just like, okay, yes, please do that. We need you to give money to the casino so they can keep the lights on, because we're not doing it ourselves. I mean, we give them money, but we get more back, or at least we're trying darn hard to, and using the techniques to do this. But we need a lot of people. I mean, that's going to be a limit on my growth. It's like that movie 21 and card counting and blackjack. We got 20 years of back and forth with the casinos about what happens when they start losing money because of my content. I've had plenty of people, fans, concerned about my safety. But I tell them it's years away, and we'll deal with it as it happens. But we need plenty of people to keep giving money to the casino so they can keep the lights on. Otherwise, casinos will close because of that. It's a long pattern. I might write a article on it or talk about the on a live stream. There is this whole history of the last 110 years of having slot machines that take coins. That's that's a slot part. And there's been a development over time. And just because we're at 2021, August 28th, at 12:46 p.m. Eastern time, doesn't mean that we can't see the project a little bit into the future about what's likely to happen if I become popular. If my content becomes popular, people start using it and winning, and the casinos take a hit. Right now, Even if I had 1 million people, it'd be small. I mean, the largest slots channel out there, BC Slots, right, or Brian Christopher's website's BC Slots, he just recently went over 400,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. That's tiny. Have you ever studied YouTube? Where's the 10 million subscriber channel? The 2 million, 100 million. What's the biggest? We're small, and I hope to I think I have a bigger audience because I'm showing people how to win. And if you show people how to win, that's something different from winning and showing other people that you've won. Subtle difference, but I think it means a larger audience. Now, Letitia, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation. It's wonderful. And also, we have here's your internet money. I was sorry. Seriously, I wasn't trying to get you to donate, but I appreciate it for the cause. Much appreciated. So, Letitia, that's happy to catch the live stream. And newbie to my course and channel here, took home an extra $500 last night using the 5-hand pull method, paid for the course, right? And she had it at the discounted price. So I believe, and since that was only a few days ago, and, people are concerned about the price. You're making money from this stuff. Anyways, and Smarty Pants says, right. Smarty Pants says holiday strategy. Yes, I have a holiday strategy. You can, it's reliable holiday patterns. It's about going to the casino the morning after a busy night. It can be a promotion, but could also be a holiday. And we have a holiday coming up. So consider going early the morning after Labor Day. That would be about 4 o'clock in the morning to almost 7 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted to remind people of that. One of the things that the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network is going to provide is a way for me to kind of give these notifications out and remind people. I have a Feedback Friday, which I do every week. Well, hang on a second. One step at a time here. So, right, I'll share this. So if you go to professorslots.com and you will see across the top here, get my online course. And if you do that, you'll come here where you can buy the course. Now, what you get are this is the curriculum. You can look through it and watch the first video if you go in, and that's labeled as the free preview. And I just showed you work through this course with me, but you can see the rest of it. All these expand, and you can take a look through it. There's each lesson has a task and a resource, and sometimes there's bonus things you can download. Magpie earlier was talking about how I have spreadsheets that you otherwise had to pay for, but you get free with the course. There's image of me here, payment options, and I need to add the fourth one here, which would you get my book, PDF copy, the gambling record templates, simple, medium, advanced, like the ones I use, and a couple of different formats depending on what spreadsheet software you have, including the free stuff and a PDF version. And then I really do have to update that last one because one of the changes that with the new non-beta version. But those of you who have already signed up to my 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win online course, thank you so much. Last weekend's upgrade has made the course much better as it now takes far less time to go through the course material, but also now has wonderful features like closed captions and downloadable audio files for those who travel a lot. I talked about that 45 minutes ago. And for those who are just joining, and we get a rush usually towards the end here, so I want to make sure I cover the important bits that I covered 45 minutes ago. But these wonderful features include closed captions and downloadable audio files for those who travel a lot and would like to learn while driving without building up a big internet usage bill. Just download all the audio files when you have Wi-Fi access and listen to them later as you drive. Along with the course, you'll get lifetime access to every future version of that course, as well as get future version of that course and at no additional cost, plus a few other valuable bonuses. So you can go to courses.professorslots.com for the link to sign up to my 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win course. And you'll also find the link in the description of this video right now, and I'll put it in the show notes and app description in my podcast episode coming up. So I want to go through, I see some questions, but I'm going to let them build up a little bit. I wanted to close out by saying there's other upgrades coming to Professor Slots now that much of my time is no longer being sunk into launching an online course, and there's a bunch of them coming. So I'm going to go over those quickly. There's the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, which is an opportunity for participants of my 30 Days online course to get 1 free month of access while working through that course. Within the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, I've already begun setting up regular meetings, such as Q&A sessions, webinars, and social hours. Have to upgrade my Zoom account to be able to host and have a lot of people, but I'm working my way through it right now. I can have a social half hour, but I'll start using features of Zoom better, and I'll go through that. So far, topics of discussion have been included, which include any questions you might have from the course topics, casino trip reports, and analytics. Since this community was only launched a few days ago, I'm still adding more topics, regular meetings, and weekly events and postings that I want to make. So it's getting built up. The Wednesday is when I'm planning next week. First Wednesday of the month is, I think that one is the social hour, and then the Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then 7 p.m. a week after that, the second Wednesday of the month, is the Q&A session, I believe. Or I might have those reversed, but that would be that'll be the first Wednesday of every month and the second Wednesday of every month, but and the time on the first one is 5 p.m. in Eastern time and 7 p.m. Eastern time on the second one. But that's all yet to be determined. I'll try to pick a good time, like with this live stream for the first 4 months out of the last 2 years. We were at 2 o'clock Eastern time and moved to noon to help accommodate people in the West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, and also people in Europe. So we will see if the evenings work on Wednesday. I can have it at pretty much any time, but I need to find out what's best for the community. So as people join, and many people have joined who have already taken the course, I'll get a better sense of what's a good time and for a bad time for most people. But I want to give it another week as more people find out about this opportunity, including the hundreds of people who are taking the course. Send them an email, but sometimes the emails don't get lost in spam. But this is a free opportunity to take the first month and use it, by golly. So I'm adding more topics, more regular meetings, and I've hardly begun adding exclusive training content not to be found anywhere else. Another reason I've created this community was due to the concerns of some audience members regarding my state-by-state Facebook groups. So many of you have expressed your concerns about ever joining Facebook. This community isn't on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, if you care to, you can join any of my 57. Yes, you heard that correctly, 57. And I have that for you. If you go to professorslots.com/FB, professorslots.com/FB for Facebook, you'll see a links to all my Facebook groups, including my Professor Slots Enthusiasts group. And those links will take you directly to each of those. Now, the my nationwide, or I should say global, English-speaking countries, really, although people like to look at the pictures too, so it doesn't have to be English-speaking countries, is Professor Slots Enthusiasts. It's a private Facebook group. It has continued to grow. I mentioned in the last live stream last weekend that it was going to cross 10,000 members on Sunday, this last weekend. It did indeed cross 10,000 members, and as I said it would, which is up from 1,304 members at the beginning of June. So it's jumped not quite 10x. By the end of August, it's currently, as of like an hour ago, 11,500. So in a few days, it should cross, not even a few days, tomorrow, maybe the next day, would cross 12,000, which means that I would have gained nearly 6,000 members this month in August. That's when I checked it. So it's been growing for those of you who like numbers, it's been growing at a daily rate of 2% and 3%. It varies. I have growth statistics from Facebook. 2% or 3%. Right now, that's between 230 and 345 members each day. And it will go up as more members join. So it's not advertising. I can't do advertising. It's all word of mouth, and people enjoy what they enjoy on that Facebook group. But we can't do what we want to do in the paid community. So it's two separate things. Somebody was commenting, I think Magpie 11 was commenting before. No, it was someone else who was commenting early on in the live chat that they don't even know terms and other things, and they have all these questions. So that's some of the things I'm upgrading, and a couple of other things have to do with TikTok. I'm back on that. I'm going to be regularly posting on that at Professor Slots. Right now, I just had a video of sharing the video of Isaac. I still have to sort of learn the platform a little bit and maximum like the videos. I did a projection. I want to talk about the Facebook group again. I did a projection just to see what, let's see if I can bring it up here. Yeah. So at 1.6%, I'm currently down here, or like a week ago. And by the end of the year, it would be over 80,000 members if I maintained a 1.6% growth rate, daily growth rate. Let me put in 2. If I put in 2%, on keypad, 2%, we're looking at almost 140,000. If I put in 3%, 500,000. Now, I did some research, and Facebook groups, is there a maximum size? No, there is not. What is the largest group out there? 7 million. And so if I look at 2022, that's impossible. That won't happen. But if I go to continue 1.6%, 30 million, what is it, 27, almost 27 million by the end of 2022 in that group. If I maintain a 2% daily growth rate, would blow past the largest Facebook group out there of 8 million. I'm sure something will break between now and then, possibly me. I have to approve every individual because I don't approve the robots and etc. And so I have numbers, and sometimes I will have to see what happens. But I love seeing the growth. I don't make money from it, but I love to see the interest, and we will see if we can break some bounds here. And I talked to you earlier about YouTube being, all the Slots channels being just minuscule, and that would not be minuscule. And we'll see how that goes. This next year is going to be these changes that I'm making, upgrades that I'm making. This next year is going to be something. I appreciate your patience with me today. I am not going to be able to get into all the chat. And there's right towards the end, every time I get this spike of chat messages as we get down to the last few seconds, and I'm over a minute over at this point. So I want to thank everybody. Please, thanks for a great show. And I will talk to you later. And for you, those of you listening to the podcast, we'll move into the next segment in a few seconds. Thanks, everybody. Bye. I realize you only heard the music from Isaac's training video on TikTok, so I've added a link to it within the app on which you're listening to this episode. It's also on the episode show notes on my webpage at professorslots.com/episode 146. On with the rest of the show. Remember to sign up at courses.professorslots.com to register for my online course for slots enthusiasts, 30 days to play slots smarter and win, including how to leave a casino with your winnings. This is the next segment of the show on slot machine casino gambling. Here I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing by far anything of interest to slot machine casino gamblers. Up next is North Carolina slot machine casino gambling in 2021. Here goes. North Carolina slot machine casino gambling consists of 3 tribal casinos. 2 are in the Great Smoky Mountains in the western tip of the state, and a new tribal casino about 35 miles west of Charlotte. The minimum legal gambling age in North Carolina depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's 21. For bingo and the lottery, it's 18. And for parimutuel wagering, it's not available. Video poker machines were once widespread in the state, but 2000's state regulations limited video poker machines to 3 per site and banned the installation of new video gaming machines. In 2007, after nearly a half dozen attempts, the state legislature fully banned commercially owned video poker machines and video gaming machines. North Carolina's federally recognized American Indian tribe, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, has built 2 casinos on its Qualla boundary lands located in the Great Smoky Mountains. The type of casino action found at these Indian casinos includes skill or dexterity-based video slot machines. These tribal casinos offer a variety of table games. Although owned by the tribe, operations of both casinos is by Harrah's, which itself is a brand of Caesars Entertainment, now owned by Eldorado. The tribe owns and operates a high-stakes bingo hall. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. It is legal to own a slot machine privately in the state of North Carolina if it is 25 years old or older. Because North Carolina has no commercial casinos or other types of commercial gaming, the state does not have a gaming commission or control board. In this section, I'll discuss North Carolina gambling establishments. There are 3 American Indian tribal casinos in North Carolina. 2 casinos are in the Great Smoky Mountains in the western part of the state, while a newly opened tribal casino is 35 miles west of Charlotte. On July 1, 2021, the Catawba Indian Nation opened a preliminary temporary modular facility with perhaps 500 slot machines and limited guest services. The tribe is expected to begin construction of the first phase of a full casino and resort by the end of 2021. The largest casino in North Carolina is Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort. The second largest is Harrah's Cherokee Valley River Casino and Hotel. There are no commercial casinos in North Carolina. The 3 tribal casinos in North Carolina are Chautauqua Two Kings Casino in Kings Mountain, found 35 miles west of Charlotte, Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort in Whittier, found 50 miles west of Asheville, and Harrah's Cherokee Valley River Casino and Hotel in Murphy, found 109 miles southwest of Asheville. There is a complete list along with a casino map on my webpage for this state at professorslots.com/NC. As an alternative to enjoying North Carolina slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering North Carolina is to the north, Virginia, to the east, the Atlantic Ocean, to the south, Georgia and South Carolina, and to the west, Tennessee. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit professorslots.com followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Virginia slots article is available at professorslots.com/VA. Are you interested in sharing and learning with other slots enthusiasts in North Carolina? If so, join our North Carolina slots community on Facebook at professorslots.com/FBNC. All you'll need is a Facebook profile to join this private Facebook group freely. There, you'll be able to privately share your slots experiences as well as chat with players about slots gambling in or near North Carolina. Again, use this convenient link I've created to go directly to our group on Facebook, professorslots.com/FBNC. Join us. The theoretical minimum maximum payments set by the Tribal State Gaming Compact is 83% and 98%. The tribal casinos in North Carolina are not required to provide publicly available return statistics. In summary, North Carolina slot machine casino gambling consists of 3 tribal casinos. 2 casinos are in the western tip of the state and owned by the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, but operated by Caesars Entertainment, or rather, El Dorado. A 3rd tribal casino has opened just west of Charlotte and is owned and operated by the Catawba tribe. In the last year, North Carolina has gained a 3rd tribal casino, Catawba II Kings Casino, in the town of Kings Mountain. Remember to sign up at courses.professorslots.com to register for my online course for slots enthusiasts. 30 days to play slots smarter and win, including how to leave a casino with your winnings. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast will include a live stream Q&A session on YouTube. Remember, my weekly Q&A session on YouTube is on Saturdays from noon until 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring whatever slots questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them. An easy-to-remember link to my YouTube channel is youtube.com/ProfessorSlots. Feel free to stop by anytime during my hour-long live Q&A session. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is another brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district. Next time, I'll be talking to you about the great U.S. state of North Dakota. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode are on my website at professorslots.com/episode 146. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.